I'll call you back. Okay, I'm a little busy.
Hi, my name is Edmondson, owner of a Cutter Brothers Barbershop, also community organizer right here in the King Lincoln District. Today I wanted to talk to McKinday, who's running for state representative for the 25th District. And just to know and just put out there, we're not endorsing any candidates, but we want to talk to candidates that want to make a difference in our community. So we're starting out with McKinday. So McKinday, tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
Well, like yourself, and I've been knowing you for a while. We've been seeing each other for a while. I'm a community organizer myself, and most of my community activism and advocacy has been in the Fifth Avenue area, where I was a president of East Columbus Civic Association over there. And now I recently moved to the Linden area, and I'm going to join people like Judge Walker in Linden area in doing activism and advocacy for the community. So. Right. I believe that we are all standing on the shoulders of great men who have been before us. People like Clarence Lumpkin, who was a mentor to me. He is still here.
Right. But let me ask you this: why do you want to run for the state representative of the 25th district? Well, in this district, right here where my heart is.
It's because this district has been beat up for so long, and I believe that there's many ways in which we can better this district by coming out and just coming out of the state house. And coming to our community and making sure we strengthen our community, strengthen leaders, encourage them, and giving them more incentives to make this district better. So while I'm running is I'm running for the young man who's coming out of college who don't believe that the government and the political system works anymore, and they don't want to vote no more. People have apathy for politics, their own government, because they don't believe it works anymore. They think the politicians are usual. They're just people that you elect them and they never do nothing. I want to change that vibe. Okay. I'm running for with the woman who has to raise a kid, the young man or woman, single mom or dad, who has to raise their kids on 2 or 3 jobs because one job is not good enough, one job is not earning enough. So I want to make sure I increase the wages in my district, which is very, very low. We're fourth in poverty in Ohio. We rank number 4, and in the state of Ohio, this district does. So I'm running for those people to give them better jobs. I'm running for community leaders like such as you and myself, but they want to get a lot done in the community and don't have enough support to get it done. And we need our government to support us and back us and making it happen. So those are the reasons why I'm running. I'm running for those people.
Okay, so that sounds like a whole lot of stuff that you're thinking about doing, and all of it sounds good. But how are you going to help Black folks or African Americans in your district, brother?
3 things I want to do, and I'll go directly to the issue by talking about education. I want to get out more programs that's going to help our young kids, young children read better. Reading is the reading level right now is so low because I visited a school yesterday, one of the best schools in Columbus, from where I hear, Millennium, and I was able to talk to the principals over there, just trying to find out more issues about education that I don't know, and instead of assuming that I know it all, like most elected officials or candidates do. I visited a school yesterday. Some of what I learned from it is the fact that most of our students right now are two grades back in their reading, and it's so sad. It's so sad that we don't have programs that encourages them. As a member of the founding fathers of Ohio Young Black Democrats, we had a program where we went to Charity Martin's coffee shop on Long Street when she had it over there, and we used to read. It was the bookstore next to it. We used to read right in that bookstore and give 5 books to kids, when they come out at the end of the day they can go home with. We used to read the kids and show them my reading is good. Right. And I brought the community component to that Ohio Young Black Democrats, which was an organization that we created back in 2010 or so. So those are the kind of things that I want to find those organizations that do such as those like yours, because I just learned from you recently. You have an organization that does something similar. Right. We want to strengthen those organizations. So that's one. Okay. With funding. I'm talking about with funding, putting direct funding into those organizations. Number 2 is economy. Jobs. We have a lot of young men they come out of our community from high school and they don't have no jobs. We want to they had a works programs back in the days. We want to have a works program that has at least about 30% of maybe 300.
So you want to put black men to work?
Yes.
Black boys, black women?
Black boys and black girls.
So put them to work.
And $3 million in a cutoff. And I'll advocate the city of Columbus put $3 million, set it aside for young black boys to get jobs. And also within that, we want to make sure that we cut out a section of that $3 million for people that are coming out of our system. I used to work as a correction officer at Jackson Pike. Okay. So I want to put some of that $3 million to those young boys coming out of a system, a juvenile system and our jail system. And they are supposed to have been we have it's supposed to be our jail system is supposed to be a thing that's supposed to make them new again to the community. So if they are supposed to have been corrected, and they new back to society, why can't they find jobs? Because they have this label on them that they're ex-offenders. So we want to make sure we direct funding to
ex-offender program.
Yeah.
But my biggest thing is that I have an issue with is detention youth services. If we can get with these kids early enough, we don't have to worry about them later.
That's true.
And we know how the system is set up. If it's empty, they need to fill beds.
Right.
So how do you plan to help our young folks who are right here in your district, in the community, that are going into the system? Once they get out, they don't have anything to go back to. They can't go back to school. You got to really be hardcore and put something in place to probably help them. And what about the mothers that are taking care of these young men? A lot of them are going through disadvantages of we're not unable to work, and then also we struggle with infant mortality in your district, which is the highest.
Right. It is.
How do you plan to really make a difference in your district?
Well, with the infant mortality issue, everybody is now on it now because it's been going on, but the last election have made everybody focus on it. And I'm going to join the city of Columbus in the sense of the mayor putting money into making sure that we have more health centers that they can, they can bring more attention into that and making sure we fix that. They need funding, they need staffing, they need educating people in ways in which we can stop that and eradicate that high numbers of infant mortality. We need to do that. I'm going to make sure that I keep the city honest about doing that. I'm going to go to City Hall with my neighborhood organizers such as yourself and others that I mentioned, the ones that I've not gotten a chance to mention, neighborhood leaders. I'm going to be at City Hall with them and support as an advocate for them to make sure that we eradicate that number, which is pretty bad. In the sense of mothers who have children in the juvenile system, we're going to be right next to their side with programs in those systems that can make sure these kids come out of that program with a diploma or a degree. While they're in there, they need to be educated. And that's what the whole purpose of sending them in there, so they can change the behaviors in which they go in there. When they come out, like I said, the program that we're gonna set aside that $3 million for, there needs to be a certain amount, maybe at least $1 million out of that goes into those young men coming back in society, making sure that they get a job. And the government has to start. We can't tell the private sector to make sure to hire ex-offenders or in some kind of way people that come back with a record if we don't practice it ourselves. We need to have a set aside amount of jobs, even though that goes to ex-offenders, and practice what we preach as a government. Right. We have a lot of politicians that say those things, but we need to enact laws and policy that's put in place that a certain amount of percentage of our hires have to go to ex-offenders. And we should not be afraid of using the word African American.
Right.
This country was built on the back of African Americans. And as a proud African American that know the history of our country, I know that this country should be proud to help out African American gain their footsteps back in society, where we can look at ourselves and say we are a proud member and we are a thriving member of this community. So I think that when we write the language and laws, we should not be afraid of using the word African American and opposed to minorities or so. We need to start we're thinking of how we write our laws and the language in which we use. Use African Americans. It's not a shame that right now everybody looks down on our community as the one that has the need most. And it's also not a shame that we should put those language in there that we the one that we want to make sure we get our resources set aside for us. Set aside is not wrong. There's nothing wrong with set aside. And we're not the only ones that have issues. There's a lot of Caucasians that have issues out west, in the rural areas too. I don't mind having it breaking down in some kind of way, but we need to make sure we definitely not forget about African Americans and make sure we target that community when it comes to raising it and thriving, helping people thrive in this community.
Okay, good. Okay. Well, I got Mayo McKinday here with me, state representative for the 25th district.
Yes, sir.
Keeping it real,
yes,
right here with Al Edmondson, community organizer of the King Lincoln District. Peace. You already cut it off?
Yeah, I cut it back.